So do the men's lightweight double sculls. Italy won the title back in 2003.
Attention.
Well, your two front runners here from the semi-finals certainly are Denmark and Hungary. They're in the middle of the field. Both did 6:22 in their semi-final races, so they ought to be the front runners here. But there are quite a few doubles in the field who've got who are new partnerships. Closest to us, Poland. Robert Sich has lost his normal partner, and they've still got to find the way back. Really, you can see their boat bounces, but that's very typical of the Polish Polish double. They always do bounce their boat. They always do find that rhythm that they set up works very well. But it's not helping them here in the field, where Germany has gone out well in front. Hungary and Denmark up in front as well.
You talked about the Poles having some work to do. With the Italians, they just missed the start by a beat. Nothing desperate at the moment, but very interesting to see how Basalini and Pettinari team up here.
Well, absolutely. Pettinari had huge success in the double scull with Luini, but now Stefano Basalini, who has been world champion in the single scull in the past. In 2003 he was world champion. 1998 he was second in 2001 and 2002. He was in the quad for the worlds that came first back before. And really, you know, it's a combination that really is sort of made in heaven. It should be. So we have a lot to see from this double. But Basalini is very much a sort of an individualist, and it'll be interesting to see whether he can work in a double.
Well, at the moment they are trailing, and that's not a very auspicious first 500 by the Italians, and it is indeed Hungary and Denmark who are leading the way. Now here are Zolt Hurling and Thomas Varga. Good form in the World Cup. They did well at Eton, they won also in Lucerne, and arguably on this season's form they're the partnership to beat.
I think so. They were fifth in Athens, and they and Denmark are the only doubles here who are unchanged from Athens. So that kind of partnership, it takes a while to get a double to work really well together, and the partnership that stays longer together gets that bit of an advantage, and you can see it's those two doubles now who are moving out in front. I do like the way the Hungarians are sculling. They've got a very nice length and flow to the way they move.
Germany, Lennick and Manu Bremner. Pretty experienced Bremner, but not good in the Olympic Games. They were down in 13th place at the end of the ranking. They haven't yet discovered a partnership to really threaten the best at this particular category.
Denmark, they're holding the Hungarian double. Sitting in the stroke seat there, Rasmus Quist, very short in the body, long in the legs. He sits there very low in the boat, but he provides good length and a good rhythm there for the crew, and they're moving very well, beginning to creep back on Hungary at halfway.
Italy, by contrast, though, Dan, the slowest of all 6 boats in that second quarter, and surely they can't get into a medal position from there.
It's just not working for them at all, isn't it? Disappointing too for Japan. Their hero Taseda didn't make the final in this, and for the host country, they've entered an awful lot of events without much hope of making much progress. But that was certainly one of their favourite athletes, who's been a world performer, medalist. He was in the single in Lucerne and won there, but he didn't make the final. He didn't actually in the B final even win that, so he was very disappointed, and I think the whole of Japan was disappointed.
But good sculling here by the Hungarians. They've responded to the Danes very well indeed. They saw the danger coming, and they know, as we all know, that you never write off lightweight crew from Denmark.
No, that's absolutely right. He's metronomic, the way that he sets that rhythm. The Danish double, there's no kind of pause in the way they move. It's almost rhythmless. It just carries on in a circle, just moves and moves and moves. You can feel much more of a finish of a stroke and a recovery in the Hungarian double, and they're sculling very well indeed.
And the result is that this partnership, the Hungarian partnership and the Danish partnership, they're pulling away from the rest. It's once again 2 fights here for the gold and silver, and then it'll be another battle for the bronze. Poland and Italy and France and Germany, well, they've got chances. The Italians are responding now, but my goodness, they've given themselves an awful lot of work to do. It would be Poland in 3rd place, I think, now, ahead of Italy. Poland with Pavel Randa and Robert Sich. And the Hungarians, though, looking good.
Yes, I'm surprised not to see France a little bit further up. They were second in Athens, but that was when Dufour was with Pascal Touron. Now they're a new partnership, and they're struggling out near the back there, trying to keep ahead of Germany.
But Denmark still not really making any impression on Hungary, but out of picture, the Italians, who did 132.70 for the third quarter, now beginning to close on Poland.
Well, they left it very late. They did have a bad start, Italy, and but it's this crew here who have all the experience. They have so much experience, and they really just keep pushing and keep pushing and pushing. And they have always had a good finish. So the Hungarians beginning to thrash around a little bit. They're not quite so confident as they were earlier on. They can feel the pressure on, but they are still a good length ahead, and they should be pretty safe.
It should be, Dan, but the Danes just beginning to make a little impression here, and out of the picture, Italy continuing to make progress.
Italy and Poland trying to hold them off on the near side, but certainly Denmark eating away at this lead. Have the Hungarians done too much in the early part of the race? Because you can see his head's going around, they're looking for the finish.
And they're hanging on, and they do hang on to take the gold medal. Bottom is Poland, top is Italy. Oh, that's close. Maybe the Poles. That's one for the judge. That's a photo there. Italy absolutely flying at the top of the picture there.
Italy came back. You wouldn't have imagined that when Hungary had been a length and a half up. But look at Poland, just holding off Italy there as they come closing up onto the line. That's so tight at the finish.
Yeah, and the Italians are going to rue that slow start because it's cost them at least a bronze medal.